Finding the perfect sneaker can really take your fit up a notch, but what about sneakers as an investment? Joining me now to tell us about the latest sneaker trends and tips to maximize your sneaker investments, as well as tips to avoid counterfeiters, we've got Scott Cutler, StockX CEO, good friend of the show. Scott, I mean, first and foremost, we just got to talk about the spinning shoes behind you. I mean, I imagine some type of magnet is at play there. You got to fill us in on what exactly is happening in those cheetah sambas behind you. And I'd love to know as well, if someone's looking to become a seller on StockX, what are some of the top tips that they can employ in order to be successful?
Well, I chose to highlight just for you one of the top selling products last year, which is a collaboration with Wells Bonner and Adidas in a Samba silhouette. Yes, it's very cool. It's rotating behind me. It just highlights some of the trends that we've seen in this marketplace, which is the rise of Adidas non-Yeezy, New Balance, Hoka, On, Uggs, Crocs that are becoming increasingly popular among the demographic on our platform. But we've also done a lot of work, as we hopefully will highlight here today, all the works that we're doing around anti-counterfeiting and fraud prevention efforts to make sure that this great product gets into the hands of the right consumers.
Well, let's talk about that right now. You know, how is StockX squashing some of the counterfeiters? This is always a big concern when you go into any resale platform or any platform where you can purchase something that had already been purchased at retail, and now you're trying to validate the experience, but also the actual product that someone is reselling too.
But taking a step back, you have to realize that the US secondhand market alone is projected to be a $70 billion marketplace by 2027. The online portion of that is about half. So we have tried to continue to differentiate ourselves relative to other marketplaces by physically inspecting every item that's sold on the platform. And since inception, we have verified 55 million products. And then we've rejected over $600 million worth of products on the platform. And so it's been a really important thing for us in this report to be able to highlight the work that we're doing using technology to not only prevent bad product from getting to the market, but also preventing bad actors from actually ever even getting onto the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of luxury listings on the platform as well. People want to ensure that it is authentic, that it is real. How do you go about looking at a lot of those luxury listings? What are the hot luxury listings that you're seeing on StockX right now?
So as we look at luxury overall for us, it includes obviously sneakers, it includes apparel and accessories. We've got over 200,000 products in our catalog. And important to that process is actually using technology to verify that the product sold on the platform is what it's represented to be. As we look at last year alone, with the use of that technology, we rejected 325,000 items from reaching consumers. And when we look at the use of that technology, we've incorporated things that are industry standards, such as scanning RFID labels into our verification process to, again, prevent product from getting into the hands of consumers. And again, this product represents the best brands in the world. And so we think there's an opportunity here, given that the secondhand market is so important to consumers, to do a lot more collaboration with brands and marketplaces to raise the standards for the way marketplaces act in the world.
Always intrigued. I've been a buyer on StockX on more occasion than one here, Scott. And one of the huge things that I think about too is the emails that I get urging me to also be a seller on the platform too. For sellers who want to really be able to maximize their profit, what are some of the ways that they can really tap into this network as well?
Well, we have over 700,000 sellers on the platform. These sellers are global. They're getting product from around the world where product is being released. And those products are, essentially that are the most valuable to sellers today are the products typically that are scarce in number. Are typically around collaborations like this one floating behind me, and also, typically represent something that is highly desired by the consumer. And so sellers on our platform are actively out there finding product, and then we're reaching a demand or consumer demographic that reaches over 200 countries and territories around the world. So it's a truly global game of both demand and supply on the market.
Scott, just lastly, while we have you, you mentioned a key word a few times in that response, which is the consumer. And it all comes back to the consumer mindset right now, as we've been tracking, what the Fed will, what they won't do, and where the data is showing resiliency in the consumer. I wonder how you would define the consumer based on interactions that you're seeing on StockX right now.
Well, two things. One, consumers have to be inspired by what they see, and those consumers are inspired by innovation, new product, new trends. And so we see that reflected in the market. Consumers are obviously also impacted by the overall things that impact demand. So inflation, war, insecurity about jobs certainly is reflected in what the consumers are saying today. But I think since our platform represents that next generation of consumers under the age of 35, what we also see is the consumerism is changing, and that consumers are really focused on the right thing at the right time. And what I'm inspired by is what those consumers are seeing out there in the market, and then be able to get access that product on marketplaces like StockX to fuel their passions.
What type of year do you think this will be for StockX, Scott?
For us, this year, in light of all of those things, I'd say we're working with brands, we're working with partners to be able to provide a great experience. And I think key to that experience for us is having great technology to ensure the integrity of the platform. And it's also providing a great experience that accessing the right products from the right brands in an authentic way. And that's our role, to be able to build trust and confidence in the marketplace, but also to be able to serve consumers around the world.
All right, I'll be right back, Scott. I got to go buy some magnets so I can display all my shoes like that at home as well. Scott Cutler, great to see you as always, StockX CEO.
Thanks.